Hey everyone, have you ever been told things like, you need more separation, or your legs aren't rotating independently from your upper body, or you need more hip angulation, or maybe you need better counteracting? Well, those cues often lead us to focus on our hips, and that's exactly what this video is about. The hip joint isn't a one-size-fits-all structure. Its unique biomechanics have a huge impact on how we ski. From stability to mobility, balance to power, the hips are at the heart of athletic skiing movements. We'll also explore how variations in hip pathology can influence what's possible for each skier. By understanding how your hips move and the variations in hip structure, and recognizing their limitations, you will be able to directly target and isolate your personal movement footprint, which will improve your skiing tremendously. If this sounds interesting, follow along. One form of leg rotation occurs when the skis are kept relatively flat on the snow and the lower body, the legs, pivots independently from the upper body. This technique is often referred to as upper body separation or independent leg turning, where the upper body remains stable facing down the hill while the leg rotates beneath the body. A great example of this movement in action is the pivot slip. In pivot slips, the skier uses mostly leg rotation and foot steering to pivot the skis back and forth across the foreline while maintaining a consistent upper body position. Another critical aspect of internal and external rotation of the legs is edging. When combined with a certain amount of hip flexion and knee flexion, this can be used to engage the edges of the skis. When a skier flexes at the hips, bending slightly forward at the waist, combining adduction, abduction, and internal and external rotations, you can tilt the skis onto their edges. A great exercise to practice this skill is the edge roll. In this drill, by flexing at the hips and using your internal and external rotation of the legs, the skier rolls the skis from one set of the edges to the other without pivoting or sliding. Another one is a side slip traverse, where you are edge setting with your ankles and knees rolling back and forth up the hill, and this can also help with getting a feeling of how to edge with the legs. Counter-rotation of the pelvis has a significant effect on the hip joint, particularly the relationship between the pelvis and the femur, the thigh bone. When a skier counter-rotates the pelvis, as a result, the pelvis rotates around the femoral head of the outside leg. This action places the femur of the outside leg into an internally rotated position relative to the pelvis. At the same time, the inside leg, the leg on the inside of the turn, experiences external rotation relative to the pelvis. This is an interesting topic and we'll dive deeper into it later on in this video. Abduction in skiing refers to the movement of the leg away from the midline of the body. Abduction can be coupled with external or internal rotation of the femur, as these movements work together to optimize edge engagement and also steering. When a skier abducts their leg, they engage the hip abductor muscles located on the outer side of the hip. These muscles lift the leg laterally, which can tilt the ski onto its edge. One of the key benefits of abduction is the role in creating that classic hip angulated position commonly seen in ski carving. In this position, the pelvis is leveled or even slightly tilted towards the outside of the turn. While the outside leg abducts, this can be achieved by actively lifting the outside leg away from the midline of the body or by raising the inside hip. Adduction in skiing refers to the movement of the leg toward the midline of the body. This action plays a critical role in initiating turns and establishing early edging, particularly through the movement known as the knee roll. Knee roll is the subtle inward tipping of the outside knee at the top of the turn, which helps engage the ski edges early. This movement is often coupled with internal rotation of the femur, which allows the skis to tip onto their edges. As the knees roll inward, The skis follow, engaging the edges and initiating the turn. Hip flexion and extension are fundamental movements in skiing that play a key role in both edge angle development and transitions in carving, and shock absorption in the moguls. During a turn, flexing the inside leg helps create edge angle by lowering the skier's center of mass and tilting the skis onto their edges. When the inside leg flexes at the hip and the knee, it allows the skier's center of mass to move inside the turn, helping create high edge angles. For example, in a carved turn, flexing the inside leg while extending the outside leg helps the skier achieve a strong, balanced position against a high edge. The inside leg's flexion allows the ski to tip onto its edge, while the outside leg stays long and provides support and stability to resist against the forces. In mogul skiing, flexion and extension of the hips and legs are critical for shock absorption and maintaining rhythm over uneven terrain. Moguls require skiers to constantly adapt to the bumps by compressing, flexing, and extending their legs to absorb the impacts to different ski lines and keep the flow and dynamics down the hill. If you found this clip insightful and want to dive deeper into how the hips work, how different hip shapes can dramatically impact your skiing, and how the bony structure and biomechanics of the hip joint relate to ski technique, this is just the intro to a full-length hour-long video available on our All Access Pass. Head over to www.projectedproductions.com to unlock the full content. See you on the slopes.